Good afternoon and welcome to Life Without Shakers, and it is indeed a beautiful afternoon here in Borrowdale on what is an auspicious occasion, because after 6 books and 181 fells I am now beginning my journey around the Western Fells, book 7, the final journey. Yeah, 5 years of getting here, and I only have 7 more walks to go in this Wainwright journey, and the first of those 7 begins, as I say, in beautiful Borrowdale, and it begins with one of the finest fells in Lakeland, which is of course Base Brown. I jest, of course. Base Brown is just the first step on today's walk, because from there I'm going to traverse the ridge to Green Gable and onwards to Great Gable, which I'm looking forward to because it's supposed to be a fabulous mountain, but I've never actually climbed it before. And then from Great Gable I'm going to return back down through Windy Gap, around the summit of Green Gable again, and then across Brandreth and Grey Knotts before descending into Honister, the Honister slate mine. And I say it is afternoon, it's nearly 3 o'clock when I set off, so it's a good job that it's only about 6 miles from here to Honister over all those hills, and then from Honister it's another couple of miles back down Honister Pass to Seatoller. So that is what is in store on this beautiful sunny afternoon, so let's get going. Okay, that was a nice pleasant mile or so along Styhead Gill. The path now joins Sour Milk Gill, and this is where the climbing begins. This path's got a bit scrambly here. Just try and work my way up through this lot. Oh, it's starting to level out. It's a bit tough in places. So this is Base Brown, I think, to my left here. There's supposed to be a direct path straight up that face. I haven't seen any obvious diversions of this path, but it doesn't matter. On a day like today, I think I'm better off following the longer indirect path because it's less steep, I think. Oh, made it to the call at the shoulder of Base Brown. Still not quite at the summit yet. I reckon taking the indirect route's probably added a good half mile at least on my journey. Hopefully it's not added too much more in time though, because it was a heck of a lot less steep. Wow, what a welcome to the first summit in Book 7. This is Base Brown, 2,120 feet. Base Brown marks the end of roads and farmsteads, of woods and green pastures, as one proceeds into the upper recesses of Borrowdale. It marks the beginning of wildness and desolation. It is the first of the rough and rugged heights extending to and around Wasdale, and introduces its hinterland excellently, being itself of striking appearance. Gaunt, steep-sided, a pyramid of tumbled boulders and scree, a desert abandoned to nature. It's not so bad when you climb it from the indirect side though. Not quite as nice a view of Borrowdale as it was on the way up, because the hilltop itself is blocking some of the view. Anyway, right, time to carry on to the gables. Right, that took 3 miles just over to get to the summit of Base Brown, which is the first hill of the day. Wasn't expecting to take quite that long. I'm hoping the next 3 miles should cover all of the rest of the fells that I need to do today. But there's going to be a bit of climbing involved for the next hill by the look of it. Got a slight problem on this climb because it's so late in the day. The sun is right in my eyes when I look up. I can't really see where I'm going. Okay, wasn't too painful. This is the summit of Green Gable, Wainwright number 2 in the Western Fells. This is 2,603 feet. Wainwright says 1,000 people or more reach the summit cairn of Green Gable every year. Yet it is probably true to say that no visitor to Lakeland ever announced at breakfast that this fell was his day's objective. And if he did, his listeners would assume a slip of the tongue. Of course he must mean Great Gable. The two gables are joined like Siamese twins, but they're not likenesses of each other. Great Gable is the mighty mountain that every walker wants to climb. Green Gable is a stepping stone to it, but otherwise of no account. All eyes are fixed on Great Gable. Green Gable is merely something to meet en route. So think most folk who pass from one to the other. But Green Gable is not at all insignificant. A sharp peaked summit more delicately wrought than Great Gables adds distinction. It does have a lovely view back down towards Borrowdale, back across towards Brandreth and Grey Knotts, which are my next objectives for the day. Look at that. That's Haystack and High Style over there and Red Pike. Looking forward to walking those in due course. Pillar as well. Wow. Some beautiful fells still to come. No more so than the next one on today's walk. It is Great Gable next, and this is Windy Gap, and it is a pretty steep climb up there. Yeah, it is no more than half a mile there and half a mile back from Green Gable to Great Gable, but it does look very, very steep from here, and cold too because it's out of the sun. Right, the sun's back, which means I'm near the top. Wow, what a vista. This is Great Gable, 2,949 feet, Wainwright number 3 in the Western Fells. Great Gable is a favourite of all fell walkers, and first favourite with many. Right from the start of one's apprenticeship in the hills, the name appeals magically. It is a good name for a mountain, strong, challenging, compelling, starkly descriptive, suggesting the pyramid associated with the shape of mountains since early childhood. People are attracted to it because of the name. There is satisfaction in having achieved the ascent and satisfaction in announcing the fact to others. The name has status and confers status. Yes, the name is good, simple yet subtly clever. If Great Gable were known only as Wasdale Fell, fewer persons would climb it. Fabulous view down Wasdale from here, with the Skye Fells just across the valley here, and Pillar in the High Star range prominent on the other side of the valley down towards Buttermere. Ennerdale is somewhere in the gap here, hidden from view completely. Ah, what a spectacular evening it is. But time is unfortunately pressing, so I need to retrace my steps back down the steep hill to Windy Gap and onwards to Brandreth. Yeah, I see why Great Gable is rated so highly. It's a wonderful summit, especially on a day like this. Quite a nice little climb as well. It's not too steep, but doesn't feel too excessive. It's not too steep going downwards. Right, as I skirt the summit of Green Gable once again, that is the high part of today's walk done. Now I just need to pick the right path, which should lead me in a pretty much straight line across Brandreth and Grey Knotts and down into Honister. Hopefully it won't take too long because it's already gone 6 o'clock. So this is Wainwright number 4 in book 7. This is Brandreth, 2,344 feet. Brandreth is an intermediate height on the broad tilted ridge, almost a tableland, rising gently from the back of Honister Crag and culminating in Great Gable. Its summit is little higher than the general level of the plateau and has nothing of particular interest. Indeed, the path along the ridge takes a wide sweep to avoid it, preferring to maintain an easy contour rather than go up and down over the top. Brandreth's one claim to distinction is based on its superb view of the High Stour range, flanked by the valleys of Ennerdale and Buttermere, a magnificent prospect. But this is a view as well seen from the west slope, around which the path curves as from the top. Yep, actual summit has a bit of view of Borrowdale, but nothing at all of Buttermere. Slight view of Ennerdale though. Okay, onwards to Grey Knotts now. There's that view Wainwright was talking about. It would be nice if the sun wasn't directly in the line of sight. It's not at all far between Brandreth and Grey Knotts, which is literally just here right in front of me. And hopefully it's not too far from there back down into Honister, because I need to get a scoot on. It's getting a bit late. And this is the summit of Grey Knotts. This is 2,287 feet, Wainwright number 5 in the Western Fells. Wainwright says Grey Knotts has an interesting situation, rising as a long narrow wedge between Upper Borrowdale and an entrant valley half concealed on the west that carries the motor road over Honister to Buttermere. So thin is this wedge of high ground that at the dreary and desolate summit of Honister Pass, Sylvan Seathwaite in Borrowdale is still only a straight mile distant. The ridge of Grey Knotts starts to rise at once, quite steeply from the woods of Seatoller, levels out at mid-height and finally climbs roughly amongst crags to a broad summit decorated with rock turrets and tarns. The Honister side of the ridge is plainly unattractive, the Borrowdale side pleasant and interesting. Not sure if this even is the high point. There seems to be another knot over there which is a bit higher, but well, if I go over there this one will seem higher, so probably much of a muchness. You can see Honister Pass from here. Shouldn't be too far to walk back. Borrowdale still looks a bit of a way away though. Need to get a hurry on now. Oh, Kevin, I've made it back to Honister. That descent was not nice. It was either steep and scrambly or really boggy, or at times both. Either way, not conducive to a quick descent. Needs to be a quick trot down Honister Pass now. Right, not quite back in Seatoller yet, but I'm losing the light, and the last mile or so is just going to be me basically jogging. Yeah, so I've got a meal booked in the pub at 8 o'clock, and it's 7:30 now. And I was hoping to have time to go back to the campsite and shower first, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, it's not been a bad walk today. In the first part, enjoyed the walk up Base Brown, and it took longer than planned. And Great Gable certainly lived up to its billing. I think I would have enjoyed the second half of the walk more if I hadn't been rushing. Set off at least half an hour later than I wanted to, and ended up, of course, taking longer than planned as usual. But that's the first 5 fells of book 7 ticked off. Only 6 more of these Wainwright walks to go now. Anyway, as ever, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you can join me again next time. Until then, bye.